Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at these. These are from a company called LIFX, and these specifically are LIFX smart lights. LIFX is definitely one of the most popular smart light companies out there, and one of the best selling as well. Everything that they make uses Wi-Fi, which means that you don't actually need to connect it to a hub in order to use it. All you have to do is buy the product, plug it into your socket, and connect to it directly from your phone. So I'll give a review on LIFX smart lights, look at the color quality, how to use the light, and also compare two lights to see the difference, the LIFX bulbs and Philips Hue. There's a few different smart lights that LIFX offers depending on your needs. This one here is one of their most popular, and it's been the most popular since they've released it. It's one of the brightest smart lights out there even today. It's 1,100 lumens. It is a relatively big bulb, which means if the enclosure is a little bit restricted in space, this bulb might not fit. If you have a little bit more of a restricted space that you want to put a bulb in, they also make this one, which is 800 lumens, and that's more of an average size. 800 lumens is about the average for most smart light brightness. But the color on these is just incredible, and I'll definitely give you a demo of that later. LIFX also makes LED strips, which is perfect for putting under your desk to light it up or behind your TV. And there is one thing that makes it especially unique compared to other LED strips. Most others, they have to all be one color at the same time, so maybe all green, yellow, or red. However, with LIFX, each bulb can be a different color along the LED strip, so it could be like a transition from red to orange to yellow, and that's called polychrome technology. LIFX is the only company that's able to do it. Also, the light can move along the length of the LED strip, and when I eventually pick one of these up, I'll be sure to show you on my site. They also make LIFX Beam, which is similar to the LED strips, but it's a little bit of a thicker strip. LIFX also makes candles for you to put on your table or even into a chandelier fixture. These candle lights also include polychrome technology, which means that if you turn it to yellow or orange, whatever color you'd like, it'll actually flicker and move around, very similar to a real flame. There's another product that they released very recently, which is an antibacterial light. So as the light's shining for a few hours throughout the day, it'll kill the bacteria on the floor and throughout the room. I haven't seen it myself or made a review because it's only been put out into the market recently, but that is something that they make that you could pick up. They also have a product line called LIFX Plus. This one here isn't LIFX Plus, but they do make one in the same form factor. Or they make the BR30 light bulb for use in floodlights, and it includes infrared. Infrared lights are perfect for security cameras outside. Maybe you've noticed on some security cameras you'll see those little red lights surrounding the lens of the camera, which makes it able to see in the dark. Even if it looks like there wouldn't be enough light for the camera to pick anything up, the camera sees infrared light and then it has a clear picture when it's recording. With the LIFX Plus bulb, you'd have no idea that it's even on. It looks like it's just a regular light bulb not turned on, but it's still illuminating the scene for that security camera. I don't have one of these myself, but I know that that would be a pretty good option. Out of everything I've discussed so far, there's one thing that makes LIFX absolutely perfect for many different applications. I've seen lots of different LIFX reviews, but nobody ever talks about this one thing, and I'm not too sure why. Honestly, I'm personally happy that I found it myself because I'm just crazy about it now. I use it for everything, especially for those of us who are deaf. It's absolutely wonderful. No other product could beat it. Or even other older fashioned notification technology doesn't even come close. LIFX absolutely blows it out of the water. So I'll explain what it is now. You know, like that old-fashioned box that you'd plug a lamp into for different notifications. It would flash lights if the phone is ringing a little bit faster, if someone's ringing the doorbell, and different things like that. But usually you're limited to, say, 5 flashes, or 6, or 7, or something like that. You're always given a limited amount of options. You just have to pick one of those options, and it's not up to your own preferences. What's up with all these limits? With LIFX, it's completely unlimited, and it's incredible. I'll show you first how it looks like when it's flashing. And so there's 2 options. So this is pulse, that's what we've always been used to, just on and off. Along with pulse, there's also breathe. And that's it there. It's a slower transition between on and off. And that could be applied to as many flashes as you want it to flash. So then you can also decide how many times you want it to flash and how quickly you want it to flash as well. So here's a faster one. This is a ½ second. What I showed you before was a whole second, and this is half of that. Next, slower to 2 seconds. When you're setting it up, it doesn't give you a limited set of options like 1, 2, 4, 8 seconds. It's completely up to you. Like other devices, you'd have that limited options, but with this, you just set the number that you want to use yourself. It could be 0.1 seconds, like a strobe light, or even up to 10 seconds. It's completely up to you. The options are up to your discretion. You pick whatever number you want for how many times it flashes and how fast it flashes. It could flash once, 8 times, 100 times like a strobe light. Again, completely up to you. What I've shown so far is just it flashing on and off with a white light. Here's blue though. And again, it's not like a limited option, like you only have red, blue, purple, yellow, green. It's completely up to you, any color that you like. You're even able to use the hex code, like the hashtag and then 6 digits. If it was 6 Fs, that would mean red. But again, it's completely up to your own decision. And it doesn't only flash on to off. It can also do color to off or color to white. It could do white to off, color to another color. Again, everything here is up to you. Here's blue to white. Next, I'll show you blue to red. Just a few options, but it's completely up to you. So I've shown you pulse, but you can also do it with the breathe function as well. So you can also set it to what it will do after it flashes for a notification. So maybe the lamp is on, and then it flashes for a notification, and then it goes back to how it was set before. Or maybe you can have it set to, if it's on regular, then it'll flash, and then it'll stay to whatever color that it was flashing. See, like this, it stayed as blue instead of white until you go in and change that notification to show that you've seen it. So this is the same idea as I've just shown you, but with the breathe function. Just a few of the many options you have. It's completely unlimited, all the possibilities you have with LIFX flashing bulbs. It's not like, oh, you have to have only 6 flashes or this color or that. This can do absolutely anything. In my home, I'll use Philips Hue for general applications when I just need a light to turn on and off, but anything that I have for flashing, for notifications, I use LIFX. Nothing comes close to LIFX for the flashing bulbs. Oftentimes, doorbells will have a different sound for the back door and the front door, which means that if someone hears that bell, they'll be able to identify if someone's at the front door or at the back door, and I'll have to mix that up. LIFX can also do the same sort of thing. I also use these bulbs for if someone texts me, and you're able to set up different categories in your contacts. So for instance, my wife and daughter, then my more expanded family, siblings and parents, that might be blue, coworkers is maybe yellow, my management team, that I'd set to green. So that means it's kind of that same idea as that flashing pattern from the back door or the front door. So for each category of contacts, it would be a certain color. So maybe for the doorbell, on a smart doorbell, that light would flash a different color depending on if it's the front door or the back door. And then for those contacts, I would have different colors set for each of these categories of contacts as well. So it would flash in a similar way, but with different colors. And then maybe if you had a carbon dioxide detector, then you could have it set to a different color and different amount of flashes as well. Again, this is completely up to you. There's no other technology or no other smart lights that come close to LIFX, and that's why I absolutely love LIFX for this technology that they've developed. It's perfect for notifications. Now, I do have to admit, it is a little bit complicated to set up. You don't just, plug it in and connect it lickety-split. There is a bit of work to it. So the app that you have to use is called Tasker, and it's only available on Android devices. So for now, if you have an iPhone, you're out of luck. But if you are able to use Tasker, then you have access to that unlimited possibilities. You're also able to use the If This Then That program, and that's one way that you could set it up. And it's ironic, no other reviews online have discussed to as much length how good this flashing feature is for the LIFX bulbs. So here is the LIFX app. I have this one light set up, and that's the 1100 lumen light. So I have it set to office. Easy enough. You can also change brightness. You can change the color temperature. Have it be a warmer white or a cooler white. And you can also set it to be the different colors. The wheel system that they have is pretty intuitive. If you don't want it to be as saturated of a color and you want it to be more mixed with a white hue, then you can move the slider up and down to select that. There's also themes available, which means that if you had a few lights in the room, say in your basement you had 6, even 8 lights, you'd be able to set up a theme, and those lights would turn different colors according to that theme. You can even set up a theme yourself and then save it in the app under themes, which means that whenever you want to set it up as that, you just have to click whatever theme you set up, and it'll turn the lights on to those colors for you. You can also change how quickly the light fades out. So you could do a faster fade out or a faster fade in. That one there is 10 seconds. In the morning, maybe you don't want that light to come on immediately. So then when you turn your light on in the morning, you could have it fade in a little bit more slowly, so that it's waking you up in the span of 10 minutes. Or for example, in your kid's room, maybe you want it to turn on over the span of 10 to 15 minutes. And then once they're up, you can come in and wish them good morning. It's pretty easy to use. There's also something else in this app that's pretty fun. Oh, there's that flicker function. We'll see how that looks. Which one here? So you can see it's flickering there. That might be fun for, like a Halloween night, something scary, something like that. Oh, they also have the strobe function here. that's just a couple examples. You can do anything you want with this. It doesn't just have to be limited to 4, 5, 6 flashes. It's completely up to you. These features work best if you have multiple lights in the same room. That way they can all work in tandem to make the theme or whatever function that you like. So that is the app. I'm going to set up 2 smart lights so that you can compare the two and how they look. It'll be a LIFX on the left and a Philips Hue on the right. The brightness and the color quality of the LIFX is incredible. The issue with a lot of cheaper smart lights is that the color just won't be up to par. Sure, when it's set to plain white, it'll be bright enough, but whenever it's set to a color, it's much more washed out. It's not nearly as bright as it would be if it was just white. You might set it to blue and it looks kind of purpley, or yellow and that's not yellow, that's more orange. With LIFX, it's absolutely true to life color. The blues are just incredible. Those reds are so vibrant. And I'll definitely give you an example of that as well. LIFX bulbs also dim extremely well. A lot of smart lights can't dim to the same degree. You can dim them only maybe to 10 or 15% brightness, and then after that, they go completely off. However, with LIFX, you can dim all the way down until it turns off. So how I've got it set up is I have my TV on the wall with a LIFX bulb on the left and a Philips Hue on the right, and I'll be alternating between the 2 bulbs. Here they are here. And I have 4 different examples. We'll be looking at red, blue, green, and then white, just to give an example of how low the dimming function can go. Here it is now. So I hope that gives you a better picture of what LIFX smart lights look like. Clearly you saw just how good the color quality and the brightness are on those LIFX lights. Usually just to have one is more than enough for a single room. Even if you have it set to a color light, that's usually bright enough as well. No other smart lights come close in that regard. I'm absolutely satisfied with LIFX products, and the flashing features are unbeatable. In my daughter's room, I have one LIFX smart light, and in the morning, according to a schedule, it'll slowly turn on. As it's getting closer to when it's time to go to school, it'll start flashing green, maybe 15 minutes before, and flash a little bit more quickly the closer it gets to that time, and then it'll automatically turn off. And you can do all of those features with a single light. You don't have to set up any more than just one LIFX bulb for that scheduling feature. I've talked about a lot of the positives of LIFX, but I'll admit there are a few downsides of LIFX bulbs as well. Because it uses Wi-Fi, it's all cloud-based. So if, for instance, your internet went down or the cloud crashed, your schedule or whatever you've set up with that LIFX bulb being over Wi-Fi would also be down. So say you had an alarm set for 7 in the morning and your internet was down, that light wouldn't turn on. So that is one issue. And that is why there are sometimes benefits to having a hub. Like the Hubitat hub that I have is great because it doesn't actually connect to the cloud. Whenever I set it to turn on, I can be confident that it will turn on there at that time. If you have it connected to the hub, actually, if you have it connected to a cloud and the internet goes down, you will have an issue there. So if you have stronger internet at your home, it shouldn't be an issue, but if you have connectivity issues at your home, it may come up. Now, how to actually turn the lights on. Philips Hue products do have their own light switches, but LIFX, they do make a light switch, but it's incredibly expensive. You could use another smart button on the wall, just like I have set up there. But again, for that, you'd have to use a hub like a SmartThings hub. Now, just to summarize, I think LIFX smart lights are incredibly good products that I definitely recommend to you. Especially if you have an Android phone or an Android tablet, then you would be able to use that Tasker app to be able to set up the schedules and flashing for notifications capabilities. And that's definitely one of the highlights of the LIFX smart lights. Eventually on my site, I'll give a review of the Tasker app and show you how to use it. But in general, for normal applications, for lights, and for that flashing light notification feature, LIFX is wonderful. So thank you and be smart.